Imagine all the people living for today.
Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You.
So who never heard that song before? And who remembers the year it was made? 1971. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. How many of us did that song touch? A world without barriers, without boundaries. A world with no division of religion or race. It's what we wanted for 47 years. That's how long ago that song was made. 2 years ago, in January, I gave a talk. Now is the time. And it was about coming into the new year saying that I was going to be the best me ever this year. And I was going to make it my best year ever. That we were going to be part of the shift in world consciousness. That consciousness that John Lennon was singing about back in 1971. And today's talk is I can make a difference. We're making baby steps, folks. We're doing it. We start each new year, don't we, with desiring for a change, not only for our own life, but for this world. We want to see more peace, more stability, more security in it. And so we come in here in January and we do the burning bowl and we do the new stone ceremony and we put down our intentions. And then what happens before the Super Bowl? Do we remember those intentions or have they fallen away? This year, instead of falling back into those old thought patterns, those patterns that have been passed on and on for generations, let's really focus on changing our thinking. Let's really focus on changing the habit of how we think, how our ancestors have thought, our family has thought. Because when we change those thought patterns, that habitual thinking handed down to us, that's when we can start really making a difference in our own life and in this world. And the first thing we have to start doing is believing and listening to everything the news tells us. That we're in disarray, that we're in confusion, that we're in unrest. There are so many more positive, inspirational stories happening in the world that we don't hear about, right? Why? Because they don't make news. But we want to become part of that good news. We want to make it so big that people start hearing it. There's a magazine called Psychology Today. And a doctor wrote an article in there about a patient, a client that had come to him. The man had planned on committing suicide. He was in his car. He was driving to a bridge to jump off. And he happened to stop at a red light. And when he was stopped at the light, he glanced over to the sidewalk and an elderly woman was standing there and she met his eyes. And she looked at him and she smiled. And he said he found himself smiling back. And then as he drove away, he thought, maybe the world isn't so bad. Maybe I'm the one that needs to change. Maybe I'm the one that needs to change. A woman smiled at a man in a car, And he decided to live. A simple smile. And then how many lives did that man go on to touch? How many lives did he change? He's touching ours today, isn't he? He's right here now, touching because of a smile. It's said that the average person has contact with 250 people each week. And every one of those contacts has the possibility of being life-changing. We have the opportunity to change 250 lives each week. And then those people have the opportunity to touch, 250 more. And it keeps going, doesn't it? That's how the world is changed. That's what makes the difference. A minister gave a sermon on this. And after the service, one of his congregants was a math professor. And he came up and he goes, besides my students, he says, there's no way that I contact 250 people a week. So this was a big church, and they had those counters, they count the people when they come in. You ever see those counters? So the minister gave him one of those counters. He said, you take this, and this week don't include your students, don't include the people you see every day, but you count how many people that you come in contact with. That man went back the following Sunday. He says, I can't believe it. I didn't contact 250 people. I contacted 518 in 1 week. If you've got a counter, try it. I wish we had them to pass out to everybody. I thought of it too late. So I may stand here and go, my life can't make a difference. I want to do some good, but what can I do? I'm only me, right? I'm only one person. There is no action. And really hear this. There's no action that is too small. We don't have to do anything earth-shattering to make a difference. Mother Teresa said, if you can't feed 100 people, then feed just one. Everyone knows Heidi. She's not here today. I don't know what happened. But she shared a story with us that she was coming out of, I think it was CBS here in Merritt Island. And there was a homeless woman there, asking for money, said she was hungry, she needed to buy food, and Heidi said, I don't have any, even if she did. And she went to get in her car, and then she said, wait a minute. She stopped herself. Now, Heidi's been really working the principles. And she said, she went back there, and she said to the woman, let me take you to breakfast. This was just a few weeks ago. So she took this woman to breakfast, and she sat there, and she got to know her. And after talking to her, she said, you wait here, finish your coffee. I've got some clothes that'll fit you. And she went back home and brought her some clothes. And then she gave her $20. She said, I only said that because I didn't want to hand out money to a homeless person. But she touched that person's life. She made a difference in that person's life in the moment. She stopped. She changed her thought pattern, and she did something. In Matthew 25:40-41, inasmuch as you have done it unto one of the least of these, you have done it to me. We all know that one, don't we? I remember it. We have the greatest power of any living creature on this earth, and that's the power of choice. We get to choose our attitude, our behavior. We get to choose what we say and how we say it. We get to choose whether our words build or break, whether they're constructive or destructive, whether my actions have a positive or a negative influence. We have that power, the power of choice, to stop when I go past that homeless person and say, wait a minute. Am I coming from that love inside of me? Am I coming from that Christ self? Can I go back and make a difference? When I touch another life, both our lives change. Heidi was so filled from that experience. She told it to anyone that would listen to her. It made her feel so good. We change our lives, we change theirs. What can I do? I'm only one. I can do so much. Anthony D'Angelo, who's the founder of Collegiate Empowerment, said this: If you have time to whine and complain about something, then you have time to do something about it. So we all know what's happening out there. How many of you have been whining and complaining about it? Pretty easy to whine and complain and not empower myself or empower anyone else. There was an elementary school social studies class, and they had TVs in the classroom. And what the kids were supposed to do was watch commercials on TV. And then they had to dissect the commercial and find the message in it. So this commercial came on. It was about dishwashing liquid. And it said, women all over America are fighting greasy pots and pans. And two young boys in the class said, yeah, that's where women belong, in the kitchen. Now, there was an 11-year-old girl in that class. And just like that, she was shocked, she was angry, she was hurt. This just isn't right. And she went home, and she whined and complained to her father about it. And he said to her, do something. Sit down and write letters to the most powerful people you can think of. And so she did. She got her pencil, her paper, and she wrote a letter to First Lady, who was then Hillary Clinton. And then she wrote a letter to a powerful woman attorney she knew. And then she wrote a letter to her personal hero, who was the woman who hosted a kids' news program. And then she wrote a letter to the soap manufacturer. A few weeks later, she received letters of encouragement from Hillary Clinton, the attorney, the kids' news programmer who sent a camera to her home to cover the story. And a month later, she was notified by the manufacturer that they changed their commercial from women all over America to people all over America. Now that national corporation was Procter & Gamble, and they altered their advertising because of an 11-year-old girl. And that 11-year-old girl is, you have that for us? The picture. Megan told that story in a speech she gave to the UN in 2015 on International Women's Day. And she said, it was at that moment I realized the magnitude of my actions. At the age of 11, I had created my small level of impact in the world. All that whining, all that complaining in the world is not going to make a difference. All it's going to do is drain my energy from doing the thing I can do that will make a difference. I can choose to make a difference. And I don't have to wait for more money. I don't have to wait for it to be the right time. I don't have to wait for the perfect idea. I can choose. I can choose to look for the positive right here, right now, today, no matter what's going on in the world. I can choose to look for the positive, and I can choose not to add to the negative, right? I can offer encouragement instead of criticism. I can offer kindness instead of impatience. I can offer compassion instead of judgment. Anne Frank said, how wonderful it is that nobody need to wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. I may be only one, but I can make a difference. In my talk in 2016, I read this quote. Do you want to put that on the screen, Andrew? I am only one, but still I am one. You can read it with me if you choose. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. During that talk, B.A. was here as our lead in our music. And Kim was sitting next to him, and she said she watched him reach over and grab a piece of paper and start scribbling on it. And when the talk was over, he had put music to this quote. Now, those of you that don't know, B.A. is currently the music director and conductor of the North American tour of Disney's musical Aladdin. He still considers this his home church, and so he always is very happy to serve us. Do you have that video ready? Okay, let's shut the lights off.
Still I can do something, and just because I can't do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. Think about that. Everything, but still I can do something. And just because I can't do everything, I will not refuse to do the one thing that I can do. Try it with me. I'm only one.
Take it into your heart. Make it your affirmation.
I'm only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something, and just because I can't do everything, I will not
So just take a moment, close your eyes, and just take a nice deep breath. And know who you are. Know the power that you have within you. That every action, every word makes a difference in this world. What is the something I can do? What is the something I can do? And when you're ready, just open your eyes. And so we received that video this week, and we had to do some work with it. It didn't come through the right way, so we spent a lot of time around it. And it got to the point where I texted BA and said, "Ugh, could you make that again?" And when you're creating something, you know you can't. It's almost like a meditation. You can't make it again. But he said, "Well, you know, it came to me, what is that something? What is that something you're going to ask them to do?" And I said, "Oh, I've got the perfect thing." Folks, next Sunday, I'm inviting you to join me to make a difference. A few weeks back, we did in here was called the eye contact experience, where we had people stand up and we faced each other and we spent 1 minute in silent eye contact, and we could feel that connection. The human connection is being lost. We get lost in our thoughts and our actions in the news. And this eye connection, when you spend, no matter what the language is, you don't have to talk, but that 1 minute of looking in someone's eyes, it's a soul connection. It's a spirit connection. So next Sunday, after the service at 1 o'clock, 1 to 4, we are going to be in Cocoa Village at Riverfront Park. And I'm inviting as many of you as possible to come. If you want to sit in a chair, bring 2 chairs. If you want to sit on a towel or a blanket, bring 2. If you have hula hoops, bring 2. And we are going to set up there, and we are going to invite passersby and the public to come and join us in 1 minute of eye contact. So they'll either sit in a chair across from you or on the blanket with you or stand in a hula hoop one in front of the other. We have done promotions to about 5 or 6 radio stations, to the TV stations. We want to make a difference, and we want to show that this human connection is alive and well, and that we can make a difference. There's a sign-up sheet out there. Put your name and your way we can get a hold of you. And then come next Sunday prepared to join us. This is an opportunity for me to make a difference, for you to make a difference, for our church to make a difference. I know that together we can do this. I'm going to have the cards of the quote passed out to you right after the offertory. Thank you, guys. God bless you.